I wanted to make it, I try to have different themes for the different shows, and sometimes it's been different regions of the Arab world. We did one, I've done one that was around the Gulf area music, and that sort of women's dancing has been one that was in North Africa, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco kind of thing. I've had some that were strictly Egyptian, and we did a show on Kulthum. So it's just music that I'd been listening to for a long time, and there's so much to choose from that it was really, the hard part was what not to use in this case.
You have to make some
you
decisions.
can only have, an hour and a half, 2-hour show is your max, and you don't want to tire people out. So an hour and 45 minutes for the whole thing. So he has so much music, it's hard to decide which to use and which to not use.
Can you give us some?
Well, a little Zil Hawa, which is always one of mine.
There's a lot of dancing in the Zil Hawa.
Yeah, there's a lot of dancing parts. Kariyat al-Fingan, which is one of my personal favorites, which will be in there.
And it was interesting because this actually tells a story.
Yes, yeah.
So you can work with it.
Yes, and actually I'm just using, in this case, I'm not using too much of the vocals. I'm just using the instrumental.
I see.
Al-Hizbi Widad Galbi, which is being sung, and Hawal Taftikarni, a little bit of Gan al-Hawa. So those are the ones I can think of off the top of my
So
head.
you are driven when you're choreography, when you're designing your dance by his music, or is just you pick up the one fits something you already...
Oh, no, you work with the music, you take the music and work with that. Really, it's hard to take... Especially something like the musical introduction to Hawal Taftikarni or Kariyat al-Fingan, it's complicated. It's not just baladi, sha'abi kind of dance music that just does this one, and everybody can get up and dance, so you have to work with it to make it work out. So, I take the music and work with that. Start with the music and work with the dance.
But this time you have some, a guest artist from Spain.
Yes, I haven't had a guest dancer for quite a long time, and the last one was a Debki dancer. I had Hassan Harfouch, who is Lebanese.
What is he now? This was fascinating.
Oh, he was fabulous. He lives in California.
Bring him back?
I hope to bring him back sometime.
I've never seen somebody enjoying what I'm doing, professional what I'm doing, and talk about from our area like this guy.
He is fantastic.
He was my guest here, and I asked him, can you show us, and all of a sudden
he's dancing
and we have to move everything.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He lives in Los Angeles area, and actually he has a lot of work teaching. So he's pretty busy most of the time, and he teaches every year at, there are some Arabic music and dance retreats around the country in different places, and he's generally doing that. Plus he has a group, and so,
this guy came from a royal family, almost.
Almost, in Lebanon. He's an amazing guy, So he's he's the last person that was a guest dancer that I brought. And I thought it would be time to bring a guest dancer, and I wanted someone who had, excellent knowledge of the dance and the culture, and someone who could offer not only something new to the audiences here and to my students and to me, because I'm always interested in learning more. And I had known about Nesma, or she goes by Nesma al-Andalus. She's actually Spanish. She lived in Cairo for, I think, 7 or 8 years before she came back to Madrid. And she founded her own dance company in Madrid. And she specializes really in the Reda style, because she was the first non-Egyptian dancer to be accepted into the Reda Group. And she worked with him for about 5 years, I think, in the group.
Wow.
So I'm very interested, she'll be teaching when she's here. She's performing in the show.
Because they stay how many? They stay almost 2 weeks here or something. 2
weeks, because we have 9 shows, I think. So she'll be here for at least 2 weeks.
And this is
coming. The band arrives, a few days before we open. She needs to rehearse with the band. She's doing a beautiful Andalus piece, which is the dancing is, it's really the choreographers' imaginations of what the dance might have been like during the courts of the Cordoba period, the Cordoba Caliphate, because no one really knows what that looked like. But she's doing a beautiful piece that is a contemporary Andalus choreographer that's an Egyptian man who lives in Europe now named Abdou Dagir, who's an excellent violin player and composer, and it's a beautiful piece of music. So that is very exciting. Plus, she'll be teaching at my studio during that time.
Wonderful. And this starts August 26th.
August 26th,
what day would
which
that
is
be?
Thursday? And we're at the Ritz Theater this year. We moved from the Southern Theater, so we're up northeast.
You miss the Southern Theater?
Well, I don't know if I miss it because this will be the first time. It's a little bit exciting to have a different place. It's a very nice place.
Because we're used to the Southern Theater.
I know, we're used to it. It is
nice background, the high ceiling and all that.
Well, this place is very much like that. It was an old movie theater that Myron Johnson, who is the director of Ballet of the Dolls, took the theater and redid it for dance. So it's got as equally as big a stage. It's actually a little bit bigger than the Southern. It has a very nice white backdrop that you can make different colors. So that'll be a nice new challenge.
And you changed because of scheduling?
You know what happened is that the artistic director of the Southern Theater that was there, that founded the theater and was the head of it, a number of years ago, this has happened to a number of arts organizations in the Twin Cities over the last, say, 30 or 40 years. His board fired him, which was a huge mistake.
A little violent.
A little violent. And suddenly he was no longer employed for the theater one day.
Leave of absence or something.
Yeah, no, they just let him go. And it was a complete shock to everybody. The artistic community was, the dance community really, the artistic community that worked at the Southern, everyone that performed there was just completely in shock. We had huge community meetings where people were screaming at these board members. I mean, it was amazing.
I mean,
well, no one really knows exactly, but it was a big mistake to fire him because he's the one person he's not a dancer. He's the artistic director and the lighting designer.
Yeah,
he's just he's very interested in dance theater. So he gave a lot of people and a lot of different kinds of dance that you would never, especially ethnic dance, Indian dance, Arabic dance, African dance, the ethnic dance theater, Spanish dance, many kinds of dancing that don't typically get a theater spot. You know,
that was the mission of this theater.
That was the mission of their theater. He was very connected to finding out what was going on all the time and who was doing interesting work, and gave you an opportunity to be creative. And they fired him, and so after they fired him, the theater environment, to work in that theater environment was quite a lot different from when
they have a
less
new one.
Artist-friendly, shall we say.
What do they have there now? Right. They go bar and drink or what?
Well, the Ritz?
No,
right.
no.
I don't know. He's still doing lighting. I still had him doing lighting for our show because he's a lighting designer. I still just hired him to do the lighting. Just that he was no longer involved in the scheduling of the theater. So the upshot of it is it was a lot less friendly about us trying to schedule our new season there, and so we just. Whereas when the Dolls built the Ritz and they raised all the money to renovate the Ritz and made it dance friendly, and they're very open to anything that wants to be on the stage.
And
there.
The area also is.
The area is also booming and
it
it's
really has
lovely.
A lot of things
what's
going
happening
on.
there is it's very exciting and growing and changing a lot. So it's kind of a creative area as well right now. So once we found out once I thought, well, where can we go to do this? And it's about the same size theater because a big theater is too big for the kind of dance that we do, with smaller movements, and keeping it in that aesthetic. You can't really go to O'Shaughnessy or something like that. It's just too big, too far away, and it gets too lost. That's
too
for
slick.
something like
it's too slick.
Well, that's something for more like modern dance or ballet that covers space, that has a different kind of aesthetic. So we need a smaller theater where the audience is a little closer to us. And also, I want them to be able to see the orchestra because the band is, the way people...
It's live music.
It's live music, and it's very important to me to have the live music so that people can understand how the music and dance go together. And it's so much easier when the band is there playing as opposed to having it on CD, where you have a lot of Westerners in the audience that aren't familiar with Arabic music. They don't even know what instrument is playing. A lot of times, and if you can see it, and you can see how the dance and music goes with the instrumentation, and they go together, it's much more educational, shall we say.
Sure.